speed.
Okay, I have 7 handouts. You guys can just they're not laminated. My dad has.
Yeah, because we're protecting the turtles and no
They're
lamination.
reusable, Nick.
Have you tried a laminated turtle once? I don't know. I think it would be bad for the turtle. Okay.
So, hello everyone. Today I'm going to be
Hi,
talking
Emma.
about the lottery and school choice and taxation. So you are currently standing at Del Mar Middle School, Katie's alma mater. So Del Mar is the last of 3 schools in the Tiburon Unified School District, or the Reed Union School District, or RUSD. There's 3 schools, Reed, Bel Air, Del Mar, and Del Mar serves 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And currently there are 560 students on campus. So something you probably wouldn't be able to see just by looking at it is that 94% of students here are exceeding state standards when it comes to standardized testing in subjects of math, science, English, and reading. Every student has access to a laptop 24/7, and because of the specialized funding that they get and receive, there are a variety of special programs like occupational therapy, speech learning groups, and a large team of psychiatrists, and therapists on campus 5 days a week. So now that you have an idea of what this school is and the kind of programs they offer, I'm going to talk a little bit about the lottery system. So the lottery system in Tiburon is kind of a man because there's literally nothing to lotterize because there's only one option for Tiburon families. So when parents fill out the public school application, their child, if they're a Tiburon resident, will be sent to Bel Air, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade. Reed, which is kindergarten through 2nd grade. So it's an oxymoron in that there's literally only one option, so there's nothing to lotterize. And the Tiburon School District is set up so that it only serves Tiburon families because it's really difficult for kids to transfer into RUSD because California state law says that when a kid transfers, the state budget and the amount of money that the state allocates per child does not transfer with them. So it wouldn't be in Del Mar's best interest to accept transfer students because they would be a financial burden because they wouldn't be getting additional funding for them. So yeah, that speaks to how Del Mar and Reed and Bel Air, the 3 schools, work to really strictly serve Tiburon families, and they're isolated in that sense, which allows them to manage their budget and allows their enrollment to stay at a pretty steady rate. So as I talked about in my key concept presentation, there are 3 ways that a school can get funding: federal funding, state funding, and then property taxes. But there's also a 4th way, which is specialized funding. So that can be like through donations or through a foundation. So in the 30s, when Del Mar and the Reed Union School District was created, a group of parents created something called the Reed Foundation, which is a foundation that holds different events and organizations and fundraisers to contribute to the schools. So in the fiscal year of 2017 to 18, the foundation raised $2 million, and 80% of that $2 million came from a fundraiser that's held just a mile away. And that speaks, I think, to the wealth in this neighborhood and the amount of money people not only have at their disposal, but the amount of money people are willing to spend and share with public schools. And the additional 16% just came from like much more humble things like walkathons and like lemonade stands. But that additional funding, aside from the property taxes and federal and state funding, allows them to have really robust art and Spanish programs. And I think it's interesting to mention that this school, out of any other school in Marin, has the highest budget for psychologists, which I think speaks to the culture of this town. So, like I said, we have specialized funding, but then we also have property taxes. So property taxes are calculated by multiplying the assessed value of a home by the property tax rate. And the property tax rate in Marin is 1.5%. And the average home on sale or on the market is roughly $4 million. So in the fiscal year of 2018 to 19, Marin County collected $785 million in property taxes, and that's an astronomical amount of money, but you don't really realize how big that number is until you put comparison with other schools. So on your handouts you have 2 pie charts. So the first pie chart tells you where that 1% property tax goes. So 42.7% of property taxes goes into schools, and then how that breaks down in a school budget. So the second pie chart is the school budget for the Reed Union School Districts. So $14 million of their budget came from property taxes. So it's a really big number that's a representation of the wealth and the kind of resources that are at residents' disposal in this community. So if you flip your hand out, we know obviously that there's a lot of money collected by property taxes, but you don't really realize how much it is until you put it in comparison with another town in another county. So like the comparison town or the sister town to Tiburon is Pinole, California, and Pinole is in Contra Costa County. So the first table will show you that in Marin County there are 22 public elementary schools, and then in Contra Costa County there are 46. But Marin County collected $785 million, where Contra Costa County only collected $2 million. So in Contra Costa County, they're almost double the amount of schools, which only a fraction of the budget, where in Marin County there are way fewer schools and an incredibly large budget. So you can see how inequality and quality of education is really a reflection of the wealth that you have surrounding your school, and that directly correlates to the kind of quality of education you'll get. So in the second table, I took statistics from an elementary school in Pinole called Stewart Elementary School, and like you can read this table, but only 28% of kids are math proficient, 37 are proficient in language arts. So again, it's just a reminder that your quality of education is directly correlated to the wealth you have access to. And just to wrap it up, I think this school and the Reed Union School District has really developed my neighborhood because of the kind of wealth that people have access to here, has made the education good, and then that in turn has made Tiburon a really desirable place for people to live, and that's attracted a lot of wealthy, oftentimes white families, which has developed the culture and the values that are held in this community in this town. Thank you.